They tell you Night City is the city of dreams. What they don't tell you is that you only ever visit those dreams when you're dead. Before David Martinez burned across the sky in 2076, before a mercenary named V slotted a dead man's ghost into their brain in 2077, this city was already a meat grinder. Built on a century of corporate wars, radioactive skies, and a pocket nuclear bomb that turned quarter of a million people into ash. Welcome to the playground of the megacore. Pull up a chair, chum. Today, we're looking at the blood-soaked history of Night City and how it manufactured the monster that almost tore it apart. Step into the elevator of any mega building in Night City, look down at your boots, and you are stepping on layers of compressed history. The city doesn't bury its past, it just builds right on top of the bones. It all started with a guy named Richard Knight back in the 90s. He was a visionary, which in this world just means he had enough money to buy his own horizon. He looked at a bankrupt, crumbling America, a place where the government had collapsed into a brutal military junta called the Gang of Four, and decided to build a corporate paradise on the California coast. No unions, no federal taxes, no red tape, just pure unadulterated capitalism. He called it Coronado City. But Knight made the fatal mistake. He thought he could outmuscle the old school mob. In 1998, a hitman put a bullet in his brain. The Moga corporation he brought in the Arasaka and Militech didn't cry. They just took over his dream, renamed it Night City in his honor, and spent the next few years systematically slaughtering every mobster in the streets. The corporation won. They always win. By the 2010s, the city was a neon playground, but the corporate boardrooms were cold. A brilliant Edgerunner named Alt Cunningham engineered a piece of code called Soul Killer. It was supposed to be a miracle, a way to digitize human consciousness. But Arasaka saw what it really was, the ultimate weapon. They kidnapped Alt and forced her to turn the software into a digital guillotine that rips your mind out and leaves your body a hollow, brain-dead husk. Her boyfriend didn't take it well. His name was Johnny Silverhand, a cynical, chrome-armed deserter who used a rock band named Samurai to scream anti-corporate rebellion until that night. Johnny tried to pull Alt out of Arasaka Tower, but it was too late. Arasaka triggered the program, Alt's body died, and her mind was cast out into the digital wilderness of the net. Corporate wars would eventually turn into a global shooting war. By the 2021, Militech and Arasaka were leveling entire cities just to see whose stock price would survive. It ended on August 20, 2023. Johnny Silverhand, backed by Militech Black Ops, stormed Arasaka Tower in the heart of Night City. He wanted to destroy their database and rescue whatever was left of Alt. Instead, he met Atom Smasher, a towering monster who was more tank than a man. A psycho who had willingly traded his flesh for Arasaka Chrome. Smasher tore Johnny apart. Before Johnny died, Arasaka hit him with a Soul Killer, trapping his mind on a prototype biochip. Seconds later, a pocket nuke detonated inside the tower. The blast turned 250,000 people into ash. For the next 2 decades, the sky over Night City bled a permanent radioactive breath. The old global internet died too, corrupted by a legendary hacker named Flash Bartmoss, to unleash a virus that turned the digital world into a playground for rogue homicidal AIs. Netwatch had to build a digital wall called the Black Wall, just to keep those digital demons from hacking into people's cyberware and frying their brains from the inside out. Night City spent 30 years clawing its way back out of the rubble. By 2069, the new United States of USA tried to forcefully reclaim the city during the Unification War. Night City's council paid a choice surrender to Washington, or make a deal with the devil. They choose the devil. They invited Arasaka back. A massive Japanese supercarrier sailed into a Coronado Bay. Its railguns pointed at the UNSA forces. The federal troops backed down. Night City kept its independence, but Arasaka owned every square inch of it again. That brings us to the mid 2070s. The red skies are gone, replaced by acid rain and holographic advertisements selling things no normal citizen can afford. Life is cheap and chrome is expensive. If you're poor, you go to a Ripper Doc, a back alley surgeon who will install bootleg cyberware in the basement covered in someone else's blood. If you're lucky, you can afford trauma team insurance, meaning heavily armed paramedics will shoot their way through a crowd just to patch up your bullet wounds. If you're unlucky, the scavengers will jump you in an alley, drug you, and rip the cyberware right out of your skin to resell it to the black market. And if you put too much chrome into your body, your mind snaps. The cybernetics takes over, and you become a cyber psycho, viewing humanity as nothing but meat to be butchered until Max Stack puts a sniper round to your eye. This is the city David Martinez inherits in 2076, a city built on corporate greed, radioactive dust, and a ghost of dead legends. David Martinez would burn bright, and he would burn fast, leaving his own blood stain on the sky before the city chewed him up and spat him out, because in Night City, a legend death is just a Tuesday. The neon lights keep blinking, the corporation keep hoarding, and the meat grinder just wait for the next ambitious kid to step up to the plate. Fast forward 1 year, 2077. The ember of David's story are still warm in the dirt of Santo Domingo, but a new ghost is about to haunt those streets. In the dark corners of the Afterlife bar, suicide mission is being planned. The target? Arasaka's crowning achievement, a highly classified biochip with whispered to hold the key to immortality itself, the relic. A mercenary named V is going to pull the trigger on the heist of the century. They think they're stealing a ticket to the major leagues. What they don't know is that the chip doesn't hold data. It holds a resurrection. It holds a digital consciousness of Johnny Silverhand, the dead man who swore to burn this entire empire to the ground 50 years ago. The timer is ticking. The chip is slotted. Johnny is waking up. And Night City is about to explode all over again.